Yeah, I wanted the coolest tri bike when I got into triathlon. Who wouldn't? And yeah, I wanted a Cervelo. Hi, this is Brian Richards, co-founder of my bike shop. I remember when I signed up for my first race, I didn't even own a bike. I walked into a bike shop and looked around at the sea of bikes and was like, what the heck am I doing here? I didn't know what I was looking at. I didn't know what they cost. I didn't even know how they worked. I didn't have any idea how you got in that position on a tri bike. I was lost. Um, and it was around that same time that I started following Cervelo, and I heard about these two guys, Vroom and White Design, Gerard Vrooman and Phil White, and how they met at McGill University in Montreal and started Cervelo. It was such a neat story. And even the blended name Cervelo, in Italian meaning brain and in French, for bike, I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And I wanted a Cervelo. But there was so much out there. So much information I didn't have. I was so overwhelmed. And the more I looked, the more lost I became. And, part of me was like, why should I even be doing this? How do I deserve to ride a Cervelo? There's folks all over the world, that are riding these bikes that are triathletes, and I haven't even done one yet. But I kept coming back to them and their message, their mission as a company, which was to, very simply put, design and engineer the fastest bikes on the planet. It was just that. And, I was impressed by it. And so I kept coming back to Cervelo, and I followed them some more as I began this journey to presumably become a triathlete. And, the Garmin Cervelo team had started, and they were winning all over the world. The, Olympics, Cervelo bikes, on the medal stand, Kona winners riding, Cervelo tri bikes. It was just a no-brainer to me. And so I got a Cervelo Dual. That was my first tri bike. Vroom and White Design. I was so excited, and it was so simple, so easy. It performed. It was everything I needed as a new triathlete at the time. And that bike got through my first sprint triathlon, my first Olympic, and even my first half. And it was everything I expected it to be. Of course, like any triathlete who jumps into the pool and then the open water, like, I wanted to upgrade. And at that time, the P2 was like the next greatest thing. And, Chrissy Wellington, I think, rode it 4 times in a row to Ironman World Championships. And again, I'm back having the what's the meaning of life discussion of, how do I deserve a P2? Chrissy Wellington's riding it. I'm just, age grouper guy who's trying to get into triathlon and get out of the water. But I again, came back to Cervelo and got a P2. And that bike and we became one. And that may sound silly, but it was true. I rode that bike in training and racing and, countless thousands of miles. I climbed Whiteface up near Lake Placid when I was training for that race. And that's 8 miles straight up on a tri bike, which ain't fun. They even make you stop and pay a few bucks before you can go the next 5 miles at 10% grade up to the top. But I made it. And, friends and I, they took pictures of all of us at the top. And, there's a rock that has the elevation of like 4,382 feet or something. And there I am with my bike above my head. And yeah, I did it. And my friend who took the picture cut off the 4. So it looked like I was like super stoked to ride 382 feet up a mountain. Rode that bike at Chesapeake Man, my first iron distance, 140.6, which is now Ironman Maryland. And it was just, it's a tried and true bike. So excited to ride it, felt comfortable on it. It was everything, to me, getting into the sport. As I started my bike shop, I applied a lot of what I learned as a new triathlete in my introduction to the sport and to Cervelo into this business. Again, their mission, straight and simple, is to design and engineer the best and fastest bikes in the world. And we're not designing bikes here at my bike shop, we're just selling them. But that philosophy of providing the best support, the best service, the best knowledge, and the best cycling products kind of falls along the same lines. And Cervelo is one of those products. We every day when we encounter athletes like me, new to the sport, or those that are getting on their second bike, we do that exact same thing with them to make sure that we provide all the things that I didn't get at the beginning, where I was so unaware, so confused, so overwhelmed by the sea of bikes, and maybe even being underserved as I walked out of a shop and felt even more lost than when I had walked in. And we take that same approach at my bike shop, and it just blows my mind that if I look back on how I started as a triathlete, that now I get the privilege to serve our customers with Cervelo bikes. It candidly makes our job pretty easy because of what they do as a company. So when I look back on it, being the triathlete that I was, getting into the sport and feeling that I didn't deserve it, that I didn't know enough about it, that I would be embarrassed to ride a Cervelo, it just isn't true. Though I thought that way, it's just not true. And, Cervelo helped me overcome some of that. It may sound silly to say that, but it's true. And we take that at the very root of my bike shop is that same core philosophy when we encounter every customer that we interact with. It all can be done, without feeling overwhelmed, without feeling lost, without feeling like you don't deserve it, without feeling like you're on your own. Cervelo has a bike for you. Everyone at MBS is here to help you find it. So let's get started.